There was an island that appeared 35 years ago. There was a lot of treasure, that's why many people went to that place, but there were a lot of monsters that killed a lot of people. Because of that there was a group of people called anglers. They were tasked with help people trapped in Magmell. This time was shown a boy named Carix. He wants to ask Angler for help to save his brother who is trapped in Magmell. He meets Angler named Inyou. There is also his assistant named Zero. Carix asks for Inyou's help, but Inyou doesn't want to do it, because Carix doesn't have money, but Zero feels sorry for Carix, so she tells Inyou to help him. Carix tells that his brother and his parents went to Magmell to look for magic potions, but their parents died in Magmell. Because of that his brother trained hard, and formed a great team to get back to Magmell, but he disappeared inside Magmell for a long time. Because of that Carix asked Inyou to look for his brother. Inyou and the Carix eventually go to Magmell, but Zero remains in the base, because she controls a drone to help them from afar. They will go where the Carix brothers disappeared. Carix saw someone injured, but Inyou didn't help him, because it was a trap made by a monster. Then they met a group of monsters. Inyou fought with the monster, while Carix was hiding. Carix suddenly met his brother. He said that many people died while taking the potion from the magic garden. Suddenly Carix's brother killed the Carix. Apparently he had killed many people to get the potion, and he finally got the potion. Inyou tried to save the Carix, but he couldn't be saved anymore. The angry Inyou immediately attacked the person. The Carix brother finally used the potion and he became very strong, but Inyou was able to win easily. It turned out that Inyou was one of the strongest anglers in the world. This time it was shown a girl named Amelia. She came to Inyou's place to ask for help saving her father who is a professor, because her father was trapped in Magmell while he was doing research. Because of that Inyou wanted to help Amelia. He was going with Amelia. There were also special forces belonging to Amelia's father's company. On the way they met a group of monsters, and they were able to win easily. They managed to find the professor's research place. Suddenly a giant monster appeared. They did everything to defeat the monster, but they fail. Therefore Inyou would help them. Inyou made the monster away from the research place, and he managed to defeat the monster easily. Everyone was shocked to see Inyou's strength. The professor and his team finally survived. They were very grateful that Inyou had helped them. When Inyou was at home, he saw on television that there was an auction of a bird, and the bird was sold at a very expensive price, because the bird was able to remove all poison. Suddenly the man who won the auction came to Inyou's house. His name was Thomas. He asks Inyou for help to save his friend who is trapped in Magmell. He told that 30 years ago his friend was trapped in the 45 Magmell district, because at that time he and his friends were playing with poisonous insects. Suddenly there was an insect that emitted a very strong poison. His friends were trapped in that poisonous place, but he managed to escape, so he was determined to find a lot of money, so he could buy a bird that could remove all poison. Inyou and Thomas finally went to Magmell. There they fought with some insect monsters. Then Thomas arrived at the place he used to play when he was little. He went straight to where his friend was trapped first. They met a giant spider. Thomas was sure that the spider was his friend. Then also appeared a giant bat whose face was also similar to Thomas's friend. It turned out that even though they became monsters, they still knew Thomas. He tells Inyou to save them using the bird, but Inyou says if they can't be saved because they've been monsters for too long. Thomas is sad to hear that, but he's happy to meet his friend. Then Inyou went to the city with Zero. There they saw many people praising a girl named Verena. The girl was considered a magical girl, because she had several adventures in Magmell to save children, but Inyou said that the girl was bad people. Zero doesn't believe Inyou's words, so she investigates Verena, and she sees Verena saving the children. Because of that he believes Verena is a good person. This time shown Inyou's past when he was in Magmell. He and his friend saved Verena who was attacked by a monster. Inyou was shocked to see what Verena did. Back in the present, many people asked Inyou for help to save Verena, because they heard the news that Verena was trapped in Magmell, but Inyou didn't want to help her. Then Zero went alone to save Verena, because she believed him that Verena was a good person, but Inyou also followed Zero, and finally Inyou helped Verena and defeated all the monsters in that place. Then Zero was very surprised to see Verena. It turned out that she was a psychopathic woman who likes to use other people to make herself rich. Zero finally found out the reason, and you said that Verena was a bad person. This time it shows a cashier named Dendon, Inyou, and Zero very often shop at his shop, but they always cheat Dendon, because of that he really hates Inyou and Zero. And this time he set a trap so they don't trick him, but he was surprised to see Inyou who didn't deceive him, and he thought that they had become good people, but suddenly the board in the Dendon shop fell on Zero, because of that he had to compensate for injuring Zero's. The next day he decided to go to Magmell, because he was tired of being a cashier, but suddenly Inyou and Zero got into his vehicle. They tricked Dendon and made Dendon an accident. But he didn't want to give up. He bought a ship to go to Magmell, but suddenly Inyou and Zero came to his ship, and they blew up the Dendon ship. The next day Dendon went to Magmell by air, because he was sure that Inyou would not bother him, but suddenly Inyou came and caused Dendon an accident. A few days later Dendon finally arrived at Magmell, but he was trapped, and he was almost killed by a monster. Luckily Inyou came to help him. Apparently the reason Inyou prevented Dendon from going to Magmell, because he knew that Dendon was very weak. Thanks for watching this video.